There we go.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Glad to be here once again, as always, with all you wonderful, wonderful supporters out there. And tonight we've got a really good discussion we're going to be talking about. And I also have a guest with me tonight I'm about to introduce you to. And it's one of them discussions that never gets old, and it never seems to you know go away. Someone always has a interest in it, has questions, concerns, all that stuff. So I thought, I want to do this. I want to do this not just for me, but for those who might have questions or for those who might be interested in learning a little bit more. Tonight, I have with me Mr. Andy. Andy is one of my best friends of over 30 years. We have been best friends and a friendship that nothing could ever break, and that's a fact. So, Andy, I'm going to let you tell people who you are and explain your disability and where you stand today with what you're doing. So, go ahead while I get my chat set up.
Okay, yep. My name's Andy. I live in Indiana. Um, I am visually impaired, totally blind, have retinopathy of prematurity. It's when your retinas are destroyed when you are born premature due to the light and oxygens in the incubators. Um, I am in my early 40s. I work at a home improvement store. I answer phones, transfer calls. Um, Hobbies, ham radio. That is really about it. That
All
is
right,
me.
good deal, man. And by the way, guys, just so you know, me and Andy actually we met through school, obviously.
Way back in elementary, like I think, were you in kindergarten or first grade or something?
I think we started out in kindergarten, I do believe.
Yes.
And man, I tell you, it's
We're,
gosh,
it's way over 30 years
it's been a
ago. So,
long time, a long time. Guys, what I'm doing right now is I'm getting the chat pulled up, and what I always do is I'll view the Andy, just so you know, I'll view the stream on my phone, mute it. That way, obviously, I'm not hearing myself twice because that would just drive me crazy.
oh, yes, that it would.
But yeah, so we've been friends for a very long time. Both of us have this. Now, you understand when I say the same disability, it's the same disability, but it's a different, how do I
Different
even,
cause,
yeah, different cause, different. And I think that that's
different
something
condition.
that it seems like so many people confuse is when someone thinks of someone being blind, they just think, well, they're blind. Or when they think that they're visually impaired, well, they're, you know, they can see a blur. It's such a
Right. I mean,
common,
there's different conditions. Like mine, I can see very bright light. There's no
yeah,
shape involved. It's just light.
right. And
So
so
it's
it's always
almost at
different.
the end of the spectrum or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just funny though when you think about it, because sighted people they either think it as either being they can't see at all, or they see just a shadow.
Completely fine.
I've
Or,
always heard that. When
sometimes, I
maybe
mean,
visually impaired people see, well, John, do you just see a shadow? I'm like, I don't know where sighted people can't, where they get that from, because it's really not a shadow.
no.
A shadow is what you see behind you on the ground or on the wall. Uh, that would just be blackness anyways. So, but
Correct.
anyways, it's just a matter of misunderstanding is all it is. But let me look and see who we got here tonight and say hello there to all of you. We've got Crystal, we've got Mom. Uh, I call her Mom. It's not my actual mom, by the way.
I
We've
know
got
that.
Amber, and again Crystal Lynn. Let's see who else we got here. I know Blue Wings is in here somewhere or will be. Yeah, she's not in here yet, but I did start a little early, so I'm sure we'll get some people drop in as we go through all this. But the one thing I wanted to talk about first is about just the disabled in general, Andy. It's such a, I've had so many comments, like, people, you got the ones that like to hate, and they're like, oh, well, you don't want to work, why ain't you working, you'd rather stay at home. So it got me to thinking about how complicated it really is for somebody disabled to get a job, other than going to something that's been organized for the disabled. It shouldn't have to be that way. There's many jobs out there that the disabled can do if they're just given a chance.
That's right. That's one. That's probably the main thing.
I said it earlier on the podcast, is we look at, people being, you know, prejudice and racism and all that. But how often do we really look at the concerns of employers being the same way to the disabled? They won't admit it because they have laws that they can hide behind.
Correct.
But let's face the reality. When you walk into an interview, as soon as you sit down and you say that you are visually impaired or you are blind or you have a disability, automatically 80% of the time a red flag has been pulled up in their mind and you've done lost that job.
But you still should tell them all your disabilities.
Yeah, I said that earlier. I said one of the important things that you really need to remember is that just because that red flags came up, if you communicate and you really share with them what's going on, and you say, "Look, I can do this. I can do," or
and show them how you can do this.
Give me a shot at this. Some companies won't because it costs the company money every time they hire somebody, obviously. But it's no different than them hiring somebody that only lasts for a couple months and, gets fired anyways.
Correct.
So if you communicate good and you use your communication skills and let them know what you can do, or even say, hey, can we set up a time to where I can come back and show you what I can do? I think that's part of the problem. Is I think that I've done it myself, at interviews, get nervous and not even.
Well, it's very easy to get nervous.
Say anything.
And miss stuff.
Because that they're already looking at you like half the person that you are.
Correct.
And they're doing it because of natural instinct.
Correct.
It's natural. We can't be mad at them.
Well, I mean, there's a way to solve that problem. That is one of those that takes years. It's not going to be overnight. I mean, it takes decades. Let's be honest about it.
It does.
And the only way to solve that is to integrate all blind kids into public schools eventually. Then that stigma will go away.
Yeah, I think that the more that we bring the disabled into the non-disabled community, and this goes out even beyond just being visually impaired.
Right. Oh yeah.
We've got to bring these people together, because as long as we do not, we don't do it, it's never going to solve the problem.
Anybody that has a handicap that's going to have these type of stigmas, and some more than others, but it does exist across the board.
Yeah, it's like I remember when me and Andy went to the blind school. We rode a bus with kids that couldn't hear, and they went to a different school. Even those that children that are deaf, can't hear, they should be put into the normal society, the normal community. Same
Yeah.
thing with the visually
I
impaired.
saw one of our friends over the weekend, a mutual
Really?
acquaintance that we know. I'll just use the first name, Alvin.
Okay, yeah. Alvin. Oh wow. Wow. Um,
Still the same.
I'll tell you this. Going to a school like we went to, I met and learned a lot about the different disabilities. If I'd have never went to that school, I'd have never understood these disabilities as much as I do now. I really believe that. Because we saw a lot. I mean, we were put in with a lot of students that had much.
It's what they would now consider. There was a lot of autistic kids there.
Yeah, yeah. I was just trying to figure what word do I use.
Yes, autistic.
Um,
Autistic. That's it.
I'll tell you, and then we're going to get back to the employment here, guys. Another problem that I see, a lot of the blind schools now are turning into where it's not really a blind school. It's they're putting these
There are more
children in there that's got much higher
high-end autistic
yes.
kids, and there were some of those there when we were there.
It makes it hard to live in a community like that because
I think the problem now is when we were there, the ones that we had that were autistic really didn't have behavior problems, and I
right
think now there's a large
number of
behavior
behavior
issue going.
problems. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we never dealt with anything physical with any of the students at all. None of them. The worst case was someone by the name of Jamie. Uh, I don't even know what the disability is called she had,
She would be
but
considered high-end autistic.
well,
I don't know specifically what she had, though. No.
I think she also had more than one personality. She had a couple going on there.
Yes.
Because guys, you walk down the hallway and she would literally be fighting with her other personality. And I won't lie to you, if you didn't know her, it would scare you. But we were used to it. We understood it.
And you could carry on a normal conversation with her too.
And that
I
brings
mean, she
back
wasn't.
yeah, exactly. It's you could talk to her at times. There was times when you could
Could
not
not.
at all, no matter what you did. Those times she didn't even know who you was, right?
Yep.
But that brings us back to what we were saying about, you know, getting to know somebody and understanding who they are. The only way you can get a job being disabled, you got to communicate. You got to allow the employer to understand who you are and what your disability is, because everybody's disability is different. But the employer, they don't always understand that. They treat them all the same. They
Correct.
treat them all the same. Doesn't matter if you was partially blind or completely blind or in a wheelchair or couldn't read. They just know you're disabled.
Correct.
And that's what they go off of. If people would really learn to just communicate more, communication is the biggest factor out of all of it. It's like what I have done at my college, what I've put together, and now Andy's a part of that. Communication is one of our biggest things with this organization. Well, it's about to be an organization. It's the biggest factor.
Oh,
It's communication.
100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of other factors that's going to roll in with it, but you've got to get communication down first.
Absolutely.
Without communication, you can't solve none of these other problems.
You got to have communication. It's got to be open communication.
We had that panel. We had a discussion panel, and that was really the opening of our group. That was the
I think you really have to be upfront with yourself as well in these types of meetings. Any question is allowed. There's no dumb question, and that is how you make
okay.
people
So
more
we have
comfortable with you.
yeah. Let's see here. Emily, welcome. I just now was looking at the chat, and guys, what I'll do is ever so often I'll look down at the chat. I'll go over it. So don't leave if you got a question or a comment. Stick around. So we have Emily here. Emily says, "I went to a regular school." I think Emily, you are visually impaired. Is that correct? And hello, Shauna. Hello, potatoes, rotten potatoes, and everybody else that's joined us. Glad to have you here tonight.
I like fresh potatoes. I like potato chips.
We've got King Taco. Hello, King Taco.
I like that name.
Let's take a look here. Waiting this for. Okay, Emily. Yes, she is visually impaired. Now, Emily, not to pry, but do you have any sight at all, or are you completely blind or partial? I find that interesting that you said that you went to a regular school. Did you graduate at the public school? Hey, Bugs. Good to see you, buddy. There's a little bit of a. She has some sight, Andy. She said.
Okay.
And she also said she went to a regular school.
That's a good deal.
Me and Andy started out at a regular school.
Yes, and we did okay. I didn't.
We did get by. We did, but
I got A's, B's, and C's.
Well, and you got to remember, we was also at a very much lower grade, so it wasn't as complicated.
Yeah, I went to public school kindergarten through sixth, and then seventh grade year I went to the blind school in Indianapolis.
Yep, and that's pretty much where things got finished up at.
Yep.
She graduated with an Evergreen certificate.
Awesome.
So you wasn't able to graduate with a diploma, is that correct? Which, I mean, you graduated, that's all that matters, but I'm just kind of curious what that certificate is. I know, like, my son was telling me if his grades wasn't good enough, that he would graduate with a certificate of completion instead of diploma. I'm just wondering if that's the same kind of certificate or is that something different? Okay. She also graduated from elementary school. We didn't have that graduating.
No.
They didn't have that back then. That makes me feel real old now. Gosh, we're over the hill here. But I think that needs to, they need to start putting students into public schools more. There's no reason why they can't provide the services through the public school. The technology is there. And let's face it, there's way less Braille these days. Most of it's audio. So a lot of this can be done through the public school without a problem. I mean, Funny Kill said 5th grade. Let me go back on that. 5th grade was the best 3 years of my life. All right. Well,
hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Okay. She said, their a diploma is called a dogwood. An Evergreen is the high school leading certificate. Okay. Gotcha. That's interesting how that's different. So I'm guessing this is, you must be I don't know where that would be, but that's interesting. Emily, if I must ask you though, out of all of it, how was your education experience not going to a blind school and just going through a public school? What was your, what would you rate your education experience to be? I mean, from it being one being horrible and really tough to get through, and 10 being outstanding and really good. What would you say on that? I'm just curious. It's really interesting. Okay, Canadian. That's why. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay.
I thought it was, but I didn't want to just throw it out there like it and it not be.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing there.
But very interesting. Very interesting. And like I said, I think, Andy, I agree, though, that it needs to be more of that. And that would help out on the social skills in so many ways.
Oh, so many ways.
Which leads me to the next thing I wanted to talk about. And not everybody, I want to make sure people understand what I'm saying here. Not everybody. I'm not saying everybody. But there is a number of people that are visually impaired, like myself and like Andy, that have been brought up in such a sheltered life that they know no other. They don't want to get out of that comfort zone. And I really think, I really believe that it causes people from reaching more goals in their life.
Oh, it's a huge goal reduction type of thing.
Guys, I've met so many people, me and Andy both have, that are sheltered. And when I say sheltered, I'm talking they don't want to be off of that small, not SSDI. You get more in SSDI, but supplemental social security. They don't want to be off of it. They don't want to leave home. And you think about it, Andy, that is a scary scenario for people like that.
Oh, it's huge. And a lot of them end up, not all of them, but some of them end up in group homes, which I don't know if that's what they're comfortable with, okay, but they can really do a lot more with their life. But, that brings back around too, though, John, and it's connected. If these kids went to public schools, this would not be occurring.
Yeah, because they wouldn't want to be, they wouldn't want to stay home.
No.
If you think about it, I want one of you that's sighted to just think about this a minute. Picture yourself being blind to the best ability that you can, and your mom and dad or whoever takes care of you does everything for you, from being a little kid all the way to being a full-grown adult to graduation. Could you see yourself leaving? I don't think so.
No, if somebody's on that, they're not going to want to get a job. They're not going to want to do anything.
I remember I talked to a lady a while back. She was looking, she was thinking about trying to get a job. Well, I located her a job. This is when I was running the business over in the other town. You know what I'm talking about, for the blind community.
Yep.
I had her the job set up. I had her the interview. I helped her do her resume, her application, all that. The job would have paid her. I mean, she had her diploma. Okay. The job would have paid her almost $12 an hour, and she turned it down. She got scared and turned it down because she was worried about losing her monthly income.
Mm.
And I said, well, you're going to lose it. If you're making good money, you don't need it.
Yeah, because you're gonna make more.
She said, well, but then it's going to hurt my insurance.
That's why you get insurance at your work.
Exactly. But she lived such a sheltered life. That's what stopped her.
Mm.
The fear of having to do it on her own. She talked a good game until it came right down to it. A lot of them do. But then when it comes right down to it, right at the end.
Yeah, and if a person wants to live at home, that's
fine. Yeah.
But you need to get a job and do for yourself. Have your own money so you can go do what you want whenever you want.
Someone had left a comment. I said this on the podcast. How, well, you're not working. You're not doing nothing. Stop being lazy. Get out there and get a job. My situation is not me not getting out there and getting a job. I'm working on that right now. There is a difference if you're actually doing something about your situation.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing nothing. They're not taking classes. They're not looking at job potentials. There's so much you can look at online now.
And the thing is, maybe people do. Maybe they do. But when you have other responsibilities on top of being a full-time college student, it takes a lot of your time out just being in college full-time.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot. And I just can't find the time to try to work enough to cover what they're going to take from me for working those cruddy part-time hours.
And part of this thing you have to remember, somebody that's visually impaired, it's going to take longer to do an assignment than it does somebody else that's totally sighted. Let's be honest.
And the thing is, like I said, if I work part-time, and I don't get much as it is, I get enough to barely scrape by. But if I did that part-time, they're going to take away out of what I do get, and it will affect everything. It's not worth it. Full-time is worth it. Part-time is not. And let's face it,
there's no benefit.
If you was only working 12 hours a week, I bet you wouldn't even do it.
No, I would not.
You would rather just take the income at the end of the month.
Because you would get more money on Social Security. So,
when I graduate,
that's a huge problem too, John. Why people that are visually impaired don't have a job. That's one huge part of the equation, unfortunately.
You mean the cut?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if you are going to go get a job, figure out what the hours are, what they're going to work you, figure out the pay, and figure out if you're going to make more on your, working, or you're going to make more with that monthly check. Let's face it, anybody's going to take the higher number.
Do that.
Anybody's going to take that higher number.
Of course.
So if it's staying at home, you're making more than working, you're going to do it.
You're going to increase your number pretty rapidly.
Yes. Like now, when I graduate, that's a totally different story. Because then I'm going to take a full-time job. And I'm going to gladly say goodbye to it. I'm not going to worry about the insurance because I'll get it through my job. Simple as that.
Yep. That's what you have to do.
But there's a progress or a process you got to go through. And when that person was saying what they was with all their wrong, hateful comments, they were definitely excuse me, not on track. Because me, I don't, and you know that yourself, I don't just sit around. I can't. I have always reached out to get something done. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. A lot of things didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but the only way to learn that is by doing it.
You're absolutely right.
And the only way to do better is by keep going.
That's right.
And I just kept going. If I hit a wall, I just
gotta keep going. Do not stop.
But I see so many people that are scared to go out there in the world and listen. All you got to do is communicate. Go to that interview and communicate. Let them know, look, I can do this. Give me a chance. I have almost considered, because of my very, I'm going to be going back to college here soon, but 2 of my classes are online and 2 of them are at the school. I've highly considered, there's a couple places I thought about going, and they're a regular factory. But the jobs in there that I've been told about are jobs I could do. But it's going to take me going in and saying, hey, let me show you I can do it. If I'm just going to go to that interview and not communicate, I might as well not waste my time. Because soon as they realize, because soon as I tell them, well, I'm visually impaired, they're red flag. Well, we'll call you. No call. But if I go in and communicate and say, hey, this is what I can do. I know I can do it. Give me a chance. They're going to give me a chance. At least my odds are going to be much higher.
Much higher.
So the point of this tonight is to motivate you to go out there and go for it. Don't let your own answers in your head stop you from doing something, because you might not have the answer that's accurate. And that's just the reality, guys.
You just got to do it.
I understand some cannot. Some have disabilities and they just can't. And that's okay. I understand that. But if you want to do it, that's our point here. If you want to do it, the only way it's going to happen, you are going to have to hit the ball first. You have got to step up and you have got to communicate and show them that you can do it. Even if you say, listen, bring me in, let me show you. Don't even put me on to pay this certain day, and let me just come in and show you I can do it before you pay me. That's all you got to do. I've done that before. I worked at a paper plate factory years ago. And all I did was ran boxes under a tape machine, turned around and stacked the boxes where they had this X in tape. Before I started that job, I told the guy, let me go back here and show you I can do it. Let me make sure I can do the job. That's when he changed his mind, or he wasn't even going to give me the job. But he did because I communicated. Communication that's what's going to get you through the door.
Communication is 90% of the interview.
The other 10% is you getting there and doing it.
Get there on time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And wear decent clothes. Don't wear shirts with hose in them, pants with hose in them. Yeah. I mean, you have to go in there and wear a suit.
No, just go in with a nice shirt and go in with good self-esteem.
Don't go in there with your head down. Smile. Put your head up.
That's right. So, again, the whole point of this tonight was just to talk about, the disabilities and how, employers, they are going to try to turn you away. Let's face it. They're not going to tell you that.
No.
You even see them talk on TV how, we're trying to put the disabled back to work. Listen, you're not going out there asking for a job putting stamps on an envelope. That's them picking the job for you. Most of the people that work at like the lighthouse, they're not working there because that's where they wanted to work. They're working there because that's the option they were given. And Andy, I think I'm right on that.
Oh, you're right. Absolutely.
Some people, yeah, they'll go there because that's where they want to go, but only because
that's their comfort zone.
That's also because that's what they're told that would work out for them the best.
Through the state organization.
Downfall about vocational rehabilitation services is you're really not picking your goals in life. They are writing them down for you. They're telling you what you can and cannot do. And unless you go into one of them centers and you make it clear what you want to do, you're going to end up somewhere that you're really not going to be happy.
Which is really your own fault, because you can give them ideas in any type of job, coaching system, or whatever, VVR, whatever.
You're supposed to give them your ideas.
You're supposed to. That's how they...
The whole idea is goal setting.
Yes.
But if you go in there and like, well, I don't know what I can do, they're going to start doing it for you. And then you're going to be somewhere you don't want to be.
And it's not going to be what you like, because how are they going to know? They're not. They're not you.
That's right. That is right. So those of you out there that might, need to go through vocational rehabilitation services, we're not saying it's bad.
It brings one simple word back around: communication. You have to communicate.
Everything falls under that. Everything. Let me check the chat board here and see what we got. Anybody's got any questions, comments? Let me look at it here real quick. Let's see. Seeing what Emily was talking about here. No, Emily, me and Blue Wings are not related. She is my manager. I'm trying to go back up here and see what. Let me see here. What was that? Yes, Fundy, that is, I'm actually taking criminal justice in college, actually, yes. Okay, Emily said she is applying to get a job. There's a berry farm where she lives that she's thinking about applying to get a job to. Well, that's exciting, Emily. That's definitely something you could do, I'm sure.
Yep.
That is very exciting. Looking at more of the chat here. And hello, Blue Wings. Welcome, welcome, dear. Just checking more chat here. Okay. Okay, so here we are. And hello, Shauna. Anybody else that's joined us since the last time that I checked the chat here. Let's take a look here. Yeah, and I'm actually taking a little bit of a curve on what I'm doing, Fundy. I'm actually going to be finishing up my criminal justice, and then I'm going to be continuing my career or my schooling after that as well. I'm not fully decided on which route I'm going to go yet, but right now, for the time being, I'm kind of just sticking with the ball, kind of going with things. Just kind of see where it's going to go. But I do know when I graduate, obviously, when I graduate with my degree I'm doing right now, that's still not going to be enough to actually be a lawyer anyway. So I'm going to work as my goal is to work as the probation officer until, I decide what's going to come up beyond that. Whether it's me going back and taking psychology or me going back and getting my degree in business as well. I'm not sure which route I'm taking yet, to be honest. But main thing is I got a job plan already set out. Either way it goes, you got to. That's when I would be working and doing schooling at the same time. I do believe. Because after that, there's a lot of it that you can do online, a whole lot of it. So it'd be doable. But I think for when you start out in college, I don't think doing it online is really the answer. Yeah, I've got a couple classes online, but you got to get your feet in the door and take some actual classes. So
Yep. I totally agree with that.
because if you don't, you're not really getting the full effect of things, you know. So, if anybody has any questions beyond this at any time, if you're watching this at another time, you can always leave a comment or you can message us. You can follow me on Twitter at Lounge with John. You can send me a DM on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Blind Nation Videos. So you have your ways of reaching out. If you're not a subscriber of the channel, make sure you hit that button. And then, does anybody else have anything to add about being disabled and employment, or any comments on that before we move to the other topic that we're going to talk about tonight, which has nothing to do with being disabled or anything? It's just something
Which
we
is
want
really
to
going to
talk
be a
about.
short topic because
Yeah.
I've only had that installed for an hour or so. So
right. So let's take a look here.
We may want to visit that topic later this week.
Fundy said my friend took here, let me read this. My friend took a personal trainer course online, and he's thinking, how in the hell can you take that online? Yeah, that's a good question. How do you do that one online?
How do you do that?
That's a damn good question there. Damn. I don't know. I just don't know.
Trainer like come to the speaker and say, "Get your ass up and jog."
Right. But yeah, the reason, Fundy, I decided I'm going to do probation is because it still falls under what I want to do, and that's helping other people. I'm not going to be doing adult probation. I'm going to be doing all my work is anyone under the age of 18. So, because the way I see it, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I think we have a better chance of helping teenagers and younger kids to make better choices than what we do with someone who's already had a set path for many, many years. It's a much higher challenge.
Definitely start with the younger generation.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
Emily said, I just think that employers need to be more educated on people with disabilities.
I totally agree.
I agree with that, Emily, but again, that just comes right back to what we said about communication. The only way this is ever going to change is communication.
You have to integrate everybody into public schools. I just think that's the only way you're going to change society.
For the long term, yes.
Yes. And this is like a long term, 20, 30.
Yeah, if we're talking
years.
right now with employers, again, the only thing that's going to fix that right now is communication. That's it. Bottom line, there's no other way to fix that. No other way. If someone tries to fix it by writing out a different business plan or strategy, that's not going to work.
Nope.
You can have the best business plan in the world for your company, and if you don't have communication with the disabled, you're not going to be any better. Your company will be no better than the company next door. Doesn't matter if you got the best business plan in the world. If you can't communicate, then you might as well not even rewrite that business plan. That's the way I see it.
Yep. You have to communicate. That's 100% part of everything.
So with that said, again, anybody got questions about that? Or if you'd like us to touch base on anything else, I'm going to try to do this once a week with Andy. We're going to come on, just talk about different things, just anything with the disabled, in general, that we can discuss and help with.
I think it'd be fun to do it once a week.
Yeah, I think so. And if you want to come on with us, maybe you know of a service, or maybe you are a company or an organization that helps with something like that.
That would be really good.
We would love to bring you on and let you share that information. The next topic for all of you iPhone lovers,
iOS 12 beta, public beta 1 is out.
And I know nothing about it. So we're going to be letting Mr. Andy tell us a little bit about it. Maybe by just telling us what changes is in this new update when it does come out. What is it going to be?
I've seen no challenges. I upgraded fine. It's working. The big thing is the notification center is a little bit different. You can clear things out by group, which makes it easy. I don't know anything about the Siri shortcuts yet. I know that was one a lot of people were talking about. I will know more about that the next time I'm on, which, what do you want to do? Another one, John?
The same day next week.
Yep. By then,
every Monday we're going to do this.
Every Monday.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
I
will be on once a week.
By the way,
if not more,
I'm taking a huge lunge in August.
A huge lunge in August.
I'm updating my phone in August.
Oh, you're going to get a new phone?
Yes. And
no, why don't you wait until September for the new iPhone to come out?
I could do that too, but I thought about getting the X, the one without the button.
Or you could just get the 8 or 10 or whatever. I would just wait on the new one. I mean, it's so close.
I just wonder what it's going to be.
I don't know. We'll find out in September.
I wonder is there no talk about it yet?
There's a little bit of talk. Maybe a better camera.
Button or no button? No button?
That could happen. Obviously, I think all the phones will have Face ID. I think some of them will have both.
I would think that it wouldn't have a button, being the 10 does not have a button.
They may not, because I think they can probably put the fingerprint sensor in the screen itself.
Yeah, I really need to get in and look at one of them phones in my hand to see how VoiceOver works with that, because that I don't understand is how you would even talk to the phone because you can't hold down a button. There's no button to hold down. Unless there's still a button there, you just can't feel it.
I don't think it's an actual button. Could be
But the
more like
button still
haptic
exists.
feedback. I don't know.
It is the iPhone 10 that doesn't have the button, correct?
Correct.
Because the other ones do. The 8 that has the
Yep.
button.
Yep.
I might wait until the new one comes out. Might not be a bad idea. Try to get information on it, which I'll have information before it comes out, obviously.
I will get more information between now and Monday.
So you don't know what other features is on the upgrade that you've got on your beta test?
I mean, you can do like with the screen management where it'll show you how much you've actually used your phone during the day and all that. And
What about any new sounds, any new ringers, any new?
I didn't see anything. I didn't really look at that.
That's one thing I wish Apple would
really
do is come out with some new ringers, new tones, new sounds. You know how most phones you get a new one and it's got new sounds and stuff. Apple's never really done much on that. The ringers has always been the same.
Yep.
Come on, Apple, get it together and give us some new sounds. It's not that hard to do. Give us some new sounds, damn it.
I don't even really care.
Which it doesn't matter because you can actually just download a ringtone of your own or put your own customized ringtone on there. So I guess it really doesn't matter. But anyways, so for you iPhone lovers, we'll give you more information as Mr. Andy here learns more about his beta testing that he's doing.
Yeah, we'll know a lot more Monday. You know, if I don't show up, it means I may have went wacko and destroyed my phone.
Well, hello, country girl. Thank you for joining us tonight, dear. How the hell are you?
What is it?
Country girl. She joined us. Another really good
evening to country girl.
Fundy said he's Android, he hates Apple product. So we already know what to do with him. We're going to send him to the corner for being a bad boy. You know, I don't hate Android. As far as accessibility, it's a different learning curve. Really,
you can do a lot with it now. It's just different.
Yeah, that's
to Apple, and it works for me, and that's okay. And there's some people that love Android that are visually impaired. So
I mean, don't get me wrong. If the accessibility worked good and I could use it good, I'd probably say, yeah, I like Android, or I might even have an Android phone. But I just find it more complicated to use as a visually impaired person with the accessibility option, which is TalkBack. It's just not as easy to me to use.
Is it getting better? Yes.
Because usually you got to download third-party apps and stuff to make it work certain ways, and I'll stick with my iPhone.
And the other problem with Android, it's like when they do updates, not every brand of phone gets an update. So
yeah,
they fragmented, and I don't like that.
Well, you know, the biggest problem with Android, my only problem with here's why accessibility is not as accurate, because it's open source. That's why.
Yep. Open source also has some advantages, but
if Apple was open source, I guarantee you the accessibility wouldn't be as good.
No, it would not.
Just wouldn't be. I mean, people just always changing it. That's why it's open source. But it's getting better. And like I said, I'm sure it's much better than what it was even a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not messing with it. And really, to really take full advantage of the accessibility, you need to have even not just a new, not just the newest software, but the newest phone that's on the market.
Yep.
Because you're going to have everything that it's going to have. It'll be there. And you won't have to do updates or any of that stuff. So, but again, back on the disability thing, we're gonna be doing this every Monday, talking about employment for the disabled. Even if someone wants to talk about housing or anything like that, that is what Monday nights is going to be about from now on. And I'll be bringing Andy on with us. This is something that me and him will host every Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern. If you want to come on, talk about something, share your opinion. Maybe you know of something, for the disabled that we don't know about that might help them with a job or whatever.
And if you want to, you know what? If you want to debate something, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, even debates. Yep. Even if you want to debate something, now's your chance.
That would be fun.
Monday nights only. I want to state that very clearly for the trolls out there. And it's got to be about what we're talking about here, about, the disabled and employment and just all that type of stuff. If you want to debate something, Monday night is a night to do it.
That's right.
Got to stay on topic. We're not doing a debate about, well, I don't like that other channel over there because that guy over there is an asswipe. I don't want to hear it. We're not doing drama here. Y'all know that. We won't do the drama. My mods will just say toodaloo and you'll just be kicked out the front door where you came in. That's right.
Like a great Kansas song.
But a good debate, sometimes debates are good. I like hearing everybody's opinion, not just my own.
Sometimes I am wrong. But just not very often.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you've not, I would tell you to go in the bathroom and look in the mirror, but that wouldn't do no good.
That's not going to work.
We can't look at, well, I guess we could, but anyways, we are human. We do make mistakes and we're not always right. And that's the honesty of it,
Yeah, that's right.
We give our opinion. It's not a professional thing. It's not anything more than just our opinion and our ideas and thoughts and all that stuff. But we're not going to tell you something that we don't think would help you. We're not going to say, well, go do this. It's going to help you if it really wouldn't help you. We're not going to tell you to go do it. Or we're not going to tell you to call this person or, whatever. We're going to give the best information that we can give you, whatever it might be you're looking for. Maybe you want to get a new guide dog and you don't know how to go about doing it. Or maybe you want to sign up for vocational rehabilitation services and you don't know how to do it. Whatever it might be, we'll do it here Monday nights. Or like we said, you can come on, you can do a debate with us. But in them debates, we don't expect anything to get nasty or hateful or
nope, it's all good fun.
It's all good fun, and it's your opinion that you're just sharing how your opinion is different than ours. That doesn't mean that we dislike you because you got a different opinion at all. Amber or Blue Wings could have a different opinion than me, and that's fine. Everybody has their own opinions. So, guys, thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. I really appreciate it. Remember, every Monday night right here, we might even just come up with a name for this that we're doing every Monday. We might even come up with a specific name for it and just use that as the title. So I love every one of you. Country Girl, thank you for coming over and hanging out. I love you, girl. Amber, I love you. Blue Wings, all you guys out there, you guys are the best. Thank you all for supporting us on, what we do. We do our best. That's all we can do. So everyone be sure to like, share and subscribe if you're not subscribed. All righty.
Do it now.
Y'all have a good night.